Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is episode 1. Today we'll meet up with Samy Sabh. He's in a band called Bonelang, and we actually met up in his studio. Unfortunately, he was a little under the weather, as you'll hear in a little bit, but he was a great sport about it, and we had a really fun time. You can follow him at _Bonelang. Let's get into it. So I have Samy Sabh here.
Yes.
Samy, how long have you lived in Chicago for?
How long have I lived in Chicago? I moved to the suburbs when I was 9. I've lived in the Chicago city limits for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you move from?
From New York.
Okay.
Yeah, from Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
So what's your neighborhood like?
Well, we're here in the beautiful Albany Park right now. I love Albany Park. I've been here for about 5 years with Maddie, my partner, and he. I mean, it's a beautiful place, man. It's super diverse. It's actually the most diverse neighborhood in Chicago.
Is it really?
It is, and it's great, man. It's super affordable. A lot of like mom and pop restaurants, things like that. Family run, like a lot of Colombian food. There's Arabic food, which is good for my Arabic ass. And there's a lot of Mexican food. There's a lot going on, man. It's nice and it's quiet. It's not like you're not dealing with like the Cubs crowd or anything like that. It's pretty quiet. It's nice. I love it.
More
I don't
northwest.
think as long as I live in Chicago, I don't think I'll ever leave this apartment. I like it.
Really?
Yeah, this is I mean, it's nice.
It's nice here. I like it.
Nice as fuck, right?
Yeah.
It's great. It's like 2 floors. We have our studio set up, Yeah, Albany Park forever, man. I love it.
So I noticed outside, before I came in, on the tree there was this sign that was both in English and Spanish and had this illustration of like an empty aluminum can.
That is Mary Kate Maroney. That's MK.
Okay.
She's my buddy John Burke's girlfriend. She's a friend of ours, and she lives upstairs. She lives 2 apartments up.
Okay.
John used to live in this apartment with us, and there's a littering issue, and MK is very driven in cleaning, and just being she's just a fucking good Samaritan, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we had People's Gas out here doing a bunch of line work, and the fucking employees were littering like horribly, like just blatant disregard, like like whole bags of McDonald's and plastic Starbucks cups and just everywhere, man. So she went out there and she picked up everything herself by hand. And she put up signs. Bless her. You know what I mean? I really liked it. I was like,
I've never seen like a personal touch like that in a neighborhood of someone like.
Yeah, she really cares. She's really great. I even think I might be speaking out of turn. I might be making this up, but I'm pretty sure she put together like a task force, like in the neighborhood, like put together a team of people and was like cleaning up, or at least trying to clean up the neighborhood and stuff.
Yeah, walking here, I didn't see any trash.
Yeah, there you go.
So there you go. Yeah,
fucking beautiful. No, she's cool, man. I like that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't do it. I'm lazy. You know what I mean? I would never go that far. But
yeah, but it's cool that you have people in the neighborhood that care that much.
Yes. Yeah. It's a really like family oriented neighborhood. You know what I mean? A lot of kids, a lot of pets, a lot of all that, man. It's great.
Mm-hmm. So if you had an open Saturday, how would you choose to spend it?
I just spent it in here, man. And
so describe this space for people that are listening.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in the Bonelang studio, and I don't really leave. This is kind of like the cave, man. I don't really leave here very much.
Yeah.
Other than to go to work or whatever, or to rehearsal. But this is where everything happens, man. This is where all the Bonelang music gets written. This is where everything happens conceptually. So if I have an open Saturday, which I often do, I don't really work on weekends anymore, which is great, or at least too much. And so anytime I really find myself with like 8 hours, I'm here.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I leave. And it's my favorite thing. Like it's not out of some kind of like it's not like out of masochism or anything like that. Like I love being here. I love just being in my space, locking in, playing piano, making songs, writing poetry. It's nice.
Yeah, I noticed we got like soundproofing all over, and
Yeah, that's all Matt Bones. So my partner Matty, he for years actually with my buddy John, who lives upstairs, who used to live here with us. They had an acoustics business where they were building out all this paneling out of this warehouse in Garfield Park, and they were going out and treating rooms, treating churches, treating studios. So we got all this kind of stuff. We got all this shit for nothing.
Wow.
Which is great. And I find it really aesthetically pleasing. Like I find it calming.
It is,
right?
yeah.
It's nice, right? They're sweet. We've kind of got like some color coordination going on over here too. It's really great.
I noticed that.
Love it down here, man. Really, I will spend 16 hours in this basement and not even notice. Like,
Wow.
that's lovely.
And it's kind of like a garden unit. So, this particular space where the studio is, so there's not a whole lot of distractions from stuff outside the windows. It's kind of like your own.
You can really lock in.
Layer.
And we just drop those blinds, and you really like. You don't notice if the sun's up or sun's down, man. You can just work. It's great. Distraction free. I shouldn't have this TV down here. I should get rid of it.
I was about to say, do you ever? What do you use more? Do you use the fireplace more or the TV?
The TV. Matt's the only one that dares put on to put on the fireplace. Fire freaks me out. I'm just always scared. You know, I'm the kind of guy that would burn the house, like burn the building down. It's definitely something that would happen to me. But I watch TV. I'll work for 4 hours and then I'll watch an episode of something. Then I'll read a chapter of a book. Then
you're
work
working.
For 4
I don't
hours
see any like microphones or like. Where do
so
you do
that's
that?
back there. There's
Okay,
a
so
vocal
there's a
booth.
separate
So that
room.
was a third bedroom.
Okay.
And we turned it into a vocal booth. So everything runs, and then behind this wall right here is where so everything runs from this desk through this wall into like a bed of computers and servers, and then everything runs over into there, into like the preamps and stuff like that, and the mics, and it's nice. It's like a little live room. The only thing we can't record in the studio is live drums, but we're lucky enough that our manager Johnny has a studio out in the suburbs where we can like just go out there, so we can record. We've got our overhead down to nothing, which is really advantageous to a group like us. Yes,
for sure.
So we don't have to. I'm sorry, pardon me. We don't have to like write our songs and then bring them into a producer or bring them into a studio space and then work that. Or like, you know, where you book a whole weekend and you work 12 or you work around the clock that whole weekend with an engineer who might not even be that enthused about being there or maybe doesn't really like your music. And you have to bang out all the drum parts, then you have to bang out all the bass, and then you got to bang out all the guitar or whatever. This is really advantageous and fortuitous in that there's no clock and there's no pressure, and we can do everything on our own time and our own dime. And it's great. It's taken a long time to build and to get this consolidated. I'm grateful for it, man. I can't. I until I die, I will have a space exactly like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. Wherever you go,
wherever I go, even if I have a wife and children, like it's gonna be daddy's space.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you do get out, so that's your Saturday, and you're in the zone here in the studio, and just being here for 10 years or so in Chicago, what colors do you imagine first when you think of the city?
Colors, yeah. I like this question. Pardon me, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sick as a dog. What colors do I imagine? I think of I get a lot of aqua blue, man. I always think of the lake. I love the lake here, and I go to the lake often. It's a great place to, like, I go to there to read. You gave me a book actually recently called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Y'all should read that shit. If you're a young artist, you should read that shit. And I read the whole thing in one day, just sitting out by the lake, man. And I walk out onto the pier, and I go sit, and I try to get as secluded as possible. And those colors really ring true to me, man.
Yeah.
There's a red lighthouse, there's the concrete pier, and there's the aqua blue water.
So where's the
I go to the Hollywood Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that
over
one.
there.
Yeah.
You know the one with like
it's
the
in like
soccer
Edgewater,
fields,
right?
And then there's that like big hill. You walk over there.
Yeah.
I like it out there, man. And it's cool. I like that beach. I walk there quite often. It's a long walk, but that's another thing I like to do is
that's
the long
really
walk.
Long walk.
It's a super long walk. Man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like the walks, man. That's how I clear my head. That's
I agree. Yeah, I do.
So when I do get out, oftentimes it's not to go see anybody. I haven't been the best friend to people in the last few years. I've just been pretty secluded, doing my work. And I've oftentimes, even lately, actually, I've been leaving the headphones at home. Mm-hmm. Sometimes even leaving the phone at home. Sometimes I'll take a book, sometimes I don't, but just walk outside with nothing. You know what I mean? Just your wallet and your keys in case you need some water or got to get a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll go for like 10, 12 miles sometimes, just
really
with no music, just listen to the city, clear my head, think about what I have to think about.
So what things are you noticing when you go?
It's hard to say, man. Sometimes nothing, which are the best walks. It's like I'm not being observant, and I'm not thinking about anything in particular. Like, I'm not walking down the street thinking deep thoughts. I'm thinking about my laundry list of shit that I have to do. I'm thinking about what's been stressing me. You know what I mean? I'm not solving problems. It's just something about the motion and just not having a goal. Because here, when I'm here and I spend too much time here, I had a conversation with Emily Nichols last night, Carlisle. She's an amazing artist. She's a great friend of mine. And I was telling her I've been driving myself a little crazy, just on the business end of things,
Yeah.
And she's like, Sammy, you can't sit in a fucking basement all day, man. You can't do that. You can't expect everything to get done just because you're in the workspace all the time. And she's right. So when I go on these walks, it's like the purpose is that there isn't a purpose, And
I love
that. Yeah. And I don't let anybody interrupt. Like, sometimes I take my phone. Sometimes I call my mother. Sometimes I call my brother. Sometimes I call my father. Sometimes I call my cousin. Whatever. But typically, no. I'll just try to turn the phone off or leave it here. And I get out and I look at the aqua blue. I like to get to the aqua blue. I see the lake. I think it's very tranquil.
Yeah.
We're lucky to be by a body of water, man.
What would you say your proudest moment as a Chicagoan has been?
As a Chicagoan, so I need to kind of take myself outside of myself here and not give a Bonelang answer. Because all this is going to turn into a Bonelang podcast. So, you can tell I spent too much time down here. Proudest moment as a Chicagoan? Man, it's hard to say, bro. It's kind of a difficult question. I used to volunteer for a program called After School Matters quite a bit. I need to get back into it, man. I've been, as I said, the last few years, I've been quite selfish just with my time. And I'd go to these events, and I would just work the desk. I didn't really do shit. I was just there to kind of absorb kind of like the youthful spirit, man. Like, I love being around, like, young people, young creative people, man. You know what I mean? And I would go to these high schools and watch these kids do, like, their dances and their raps and their songs. And I just found it really rewarding to watch, like, these unbelievably skilled kids.
So this program, is it more of a creative, more?
It's
more like arts?
It's like,
so
well,
it's
at least
After School Matters, you said?
After School Matters is what it's called. And it's after school programming for, like, young people that are interested in the arts and creativity. And I really love that. I got a lot out of that, man. So I was always just proud to be a part of that. You know what I mean? Just as, like, this is good. This is good for everybody involved. This is good for the volunteers. This is good for the kids. This is good for the teachers. This is good for everybody involved with programs like that. Yeah. I should send some emails back out and get involved again.
Yeah, that'd be
it's
cool.
Good for the spirit. You know what I mean?
It's good for like your heart.
Good.
You know?
It's good for your heart. It's good to be a part of something bigger than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you started on this route, I do want to ask you, what's been your proudest moment in Bonelang?
Proudest moment in Bonelang? Well, we just released our album, Sunny Sunny, our debut album, for, a month ago. A little over a month ago. And I'd say headline in the Metro last month was, like, a really big moment for us, man. We've had the opportunity to, Bonelang's growing. It's growing incrementally, but it's growing. And it's really exciting. But to go out, to walk out at the Metro, which is a venue I've been going to shows. So, I've gone to see some of my favorite bands in the world since I was like a 13-year-old kid. So just to get to walk out and see, 600-700 people out there truly invested in the music, it was cool to see that many people singing the words back and really being present. You know, there wasn't that many fucking cell phones up, which I thought was pretty cool. Everyone there was just there, and I was really proud of that. You know.
So then it ties back to your time here on all those Saturdays, those open Saturdays you're spending here in the studio, hours after hours.
Yeah, man.
And then
just to say, it's a like really visceral payoff. It's a really visceral payoff. It's like very tangible and very like, you know, you build all the way up to a moment like that and you really get to feel it. And we're not this huge band that's on tour with thousands of people screaming our names and screaming our lyrics every night. You know, we're building towards that for sure. That's the ultimate goal, is to tour the world. But like, right now, a band our size, a night like that is really special and fulfilling.
What's your hidden gem in Chicago?
There's a park around the corner called Horner Park in Albany Park.
Okay.
And I go to Horner Park all the time on my walks. If I'm not going to go 10 miles and like walk all down to the lake and shit like that, I always just go straight to Horner Park. And there's this little trail that leads straight down by the river.
How big is this park? Is it pretty...
Yeah, it's sizable. I mean, it's not like Humboldt Park or anything like that, but it's sizable. I couldn't give you like an acreage or anything like that. I don't have.
Oh, precisely.
I can't.
How many acres
I can't lock that.
Here?
I can't dial that in for you. But Horner Park, and there's this trail that leads right down by the river, and not a lot of people go down there. It's new. It's open this year, and I go there all the time, man. And I just sit by the river. I'll like walk down there and I'll sit, and it feels like...
You said the river flows through it? It goes through it?
Yeah, it goes right next to the park, and this little trail, it's like just this little dirt trail that they cut out, and it goes like straight down by the river, and you can get within like 10 feet of the water.
Okay.
And very few people go down there, probably just because it's so new. And I'll go, and sometimes I just feel like it's my own little spot. You know what I mean? And I'll bring a notebook, jot some poetry, jot some lines, or I'll bring a book, or I'll bring nothing and just do my purposeful walks. And I feel like it's just my own little spot. I love it there.
That's awesome.
It reminds me of I go to London. So my mother's from Dublin, but she was raised in London. So and she's one of 5. So my whole mother's side of the family's in London, and I don't go as much as I used to, just because, you know, adulthood, and I have to pay for it myself now.
It's
I'm a broke artist.
Atlantic,
But I used to go all the time, almost every summer, to see my cousins and stuff. And there was this little spot in London that was very similar to this, where my cousin and I would go. So when I go to this spot in Chicago, it kind of brings me back to him and to that spot and to those times in my life. And it's nice, man. It's quite tranquil. And in a city like this, that's something I love about Albany Park, man, is up here, like, the train doesn't run above ground. It like runs at street level. And there's the river, and there's, it's not really the city. It's the city. It's Chicago, man.
Yeah.
But it's just tucked a little bit outside. It's a little bit in the periphery in that way. And I really like that. I don't like downtown. Downtown might as well be a totally different city. I don't go there. And when I do, I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. No, I don't enjoy it. I like the buildings are beautiful and the architecture is unbelievable. And sometimes I do catch myself down there being like, holy, like, damn, I forget it's so gorgeous down here. But I don't like the vibe. I don't like the restaurants. I don't like I don't like it, man. Like, I don't like that shit. I like Albany Park. You know,
wow, that's pretty interesting.
Crowds and shit, man. I don't do well. You know,
unless if you're on the stage and the crowd is separated.
Right. Well, that's it. Seriously, it's different. Like, I don't go to. When I was 18, I loved going to Lollapalooza. I'm going to Lollapalooza today, right? You caught me on the day that I'm going to Lollapalooza today. But I got my little VIP. I got my little backstage pass, so I can separate myself at least a little bit if I need to. You know what I mean? But I get stressed, man. I get really stressed in huge crowds, and like at any show, you'll never catch me in the front. You'll always catch me in the periphery. And it's not because I'm trying to be too cool, man. It's because I really get sweat in crowds. So when it's rush hour downtown and like that rat race is pumping, I don't.
You don't want anything.
I don't want anything to do with it, man.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I like quiet. I like slow. I have geriatric tendencies. You know what I mean? I'm an old soul. I definitely see myself when I get older, like cashing out in the woods, you know, New Hampshire, Maine, something like that. Build a studio.
Yeah.
Nobody gets it. Yeah. I don't have to see anybody except my mom and Matt, really. That's it. Like, anyway, what were we talking about?
No, it's great. What sound do you most affiliate Chicago with?
The L, man. The L. I like it. I don't mind it. Really, I don't mind that shit. I think it just sounds like Chicago.
It's a very objective question, I would say.
Yeah.
So that's why I follow it up with, in your time in Chicago, what music has influenced you the most, whatever it may be?
Rap music, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, hip hop, man. I argue that Chicago's, Chicago's just a hotbed for great music, but I would say hip hop in particular, man. The Sabas, the Sminos, the No Names, the Chance the Rappers, the Mick Jenkins, these are like supreme talents, man. Saba here, he's a Chicago cat, and his album Care for Me is to me like one of the great rap albums of our time.
Really?
I don't know if it'll be recognized for that. I think in time. I mean, it's still like he's still like touring the world off this album. You know what I mean? Off these like 12 songs, and or however many songs it is. I can't totally remember, but I do. I think in like within 5 to 10 years, it'll be remembered as like one of the great Chicago albums of all time.
Wow.
And we're just lucky to be around that kind of music.
What's a common scene you see in your daily interaction with the city?
A common scene. Well, I go to Horner Park almost every day, or maybe not every day, but 4 or 5 times a week. Okay. And there's always these dudes selling like slushies and pineapple and like mango, in the park, and I love that shit. I buy mangoes from these guys all the time, and like, I'd say that's a pretty common scene, especially in Albany Park, man. You see a lot of that. Yeah. Little Mexican cats like pushing around the carts and selling fruit. Yeah. Yeah, I like it, man. I think that's pretty unique to Chicago. You know what I mean? I can't. I'm from New York. I don't like. It's a different kind of street vendor out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like cheeseburgers and hot dogs and shawarma and shit. And hot nuts. Hot nuts. You ever been to New York? Yeah. Yeah. You ever have the hot nuts on the street? No, I haven't. Like hot. Yo, next time I'm gonna put you on, bro. Next time you go to New York, and you see the hot nuts guy, they're everywhere. Get that shit. It's like $4, and they sell you these like caramelized, like cashews and shit. Okay. Homie, they're amazing. Get those nuts. I get the hot nuts all the time, dude. Hot nuts. You heard it here. You heard it here. Yeah. But yeah, the fruit guys, man. The fruit guys in Horner Park. I can't stress to you enough how much time I spend in Horner Park. Yeah, I was wondering, okay, so like, are you going there 2 times a week? No, all the time, you're saying 4 to 5 times a week. Yeah, and it's like, it's just, in the summer. And that's why, because in the winter I can't, I'm not going to go freeze my nuts off. Freeze my hot nuts off. So in the summer, I just try to soak it up as much as possible. Yeah. And being a guy that spends all his time in a basement, I like to go get some vitamin D when I can. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'll just never see the light of day, bro. Yeah. I go whole weeks without sunlight. So in the summer, I go to Horner Park. So it helps. Yeah. If you were given secret information that Chicago would be destroyed in 1 week, what's one quality you would choose to keep to rebuild it? I didn't totally understand this question when I was reading it. Okay. Samy Sabh. Yeah. Chicago's going to be destroyed in 1 week. Yeah. But you have the opportunity to keep one thing about it. To rebuild it. What are you going to keep? Like a characteristic of it could be physical. Its people? It could be not physical. I mean, I would say Well, I worked in construction for 6 years through college and a few years after. And I learned a lot in those years. I learned a lot about racism. And I learned a lot. So some negative thing, like I learned a lot about how people treat each other, how different kinds of people are treating each other in this city. And I also learned a lot about ethic. And one thing I did notice about the ethic of the laborers in this city is it's intense, man. Like, these laborers are, homie, they're working so hard. They go hard, and there's a blue collar ethic in this city, and it's the blue collar ethic of this city that built this city. That I don't think that you could really take from these people, from Chicagoans. And I would say, if there's anything I could keep, if we found ourselves in, after the second Great Chicago Fire or something like that, it would be the blue collar ethic of these people that would bring the city to a new day. It was weird, man. It was a weird time in my life. It was like, I'd be out there, I'd be getting so I'm Arabic, like my dad's from Cairo, right? And as soon as these motherfuckers found out, it was Towhead this, thanks for 9/11 that, you know what I mean? Like, all this kind of shit, bro. And the white guys are saying weird shit to the black guys, and the black guys are saying weird shit to the white guys, and the everyone's saying weird shit to the Mexican guys. Like, it was just the whole shit. I was just like, man, I was coming from the fucking suburbs at the time. You know what I mean? Like, this was my internet. Like, I started as a laborer at like 18, and I just hadn't seen it on like this visceral of a level. Like, it was just intense, man. But the one common denominator between all this like shit talking and like filth really was everyone was going hard. Like, there was, because if you didn't, you were off the job. And, there was a line of people that wanted those. These are high paying, these are quality jobs. You know what I mean? So ethic kind of trumped all in the end of the day. And, but there was a lot to learn in those years, man. It was like, the world ain't nice, you know what I mean? The world isn't the suburbs, and the world isn't manicured lawns and shit like that. It's hard, you know what I mean?
We talked a lot about Albany Park. What's one thing you would do to improve Albany Park?
Nah, man. I don't think it's my place to say, but I don't really know, man. I really love this place. I don't know, man. I'd speed up the fucking construction on Kedzie, I guess is what I would do.
There you go.
Man. It's been like 6 years of like, you just can't drive down Kedzie to 1994 without just like the worst blockage in the world. That's really it, bro. It's not my place to say what this place needs. You know what I mean? I'm lucky enough to have a space here, but yeah, man.
What about the city as a whole?
Again, man, I don't know. I mean,
like something you would like to see happen.
More public school funding, man. This is not right. It's not right, man. I did some volunteer work out at, some public schools out on the west side and shit like that, and it's not right, bro. They don't have the facilities that they need, and they don't have the resources that they need. And then you come over here, and a bunch of the magnet and charter schools and stuff are like just set up. Right? You know what I mean? They have that seed money, and I don't know, just a better allocation of funds, I guess, into the public schooling system, man.
When people learn you're from Chicago, you've toured the country a little bit. When people learn you're from Chicago, what's their reaction?
People seem to fuck with Chicago, man. Chicago's a great city. I'm from New York. I've spent a considerable amount of time in LA. I've been in all the kind of smaller second and third tier cities. You know what I mean? And I don't mean second and third tier as in they suck. I'm talking about population. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just don't want somebody in St. Louis to hear this and be like, motherfucker. And Chicago's special. Chicago, I argue, other than New York, is it's the second best skyline in in the country. It's got an unbelievable culture. It's got unbelievable music. It's a fantastic place, man. Not a lot of people have negative things to say. There is actually, you know what? Let me dial that back a little bit. There is this conception that, you know, there's a lot of violence there, and some people have been like, oh man, like, is it dangerous there? I mean, man, it's a major metropolitan area. It's as dangerous as any major metropolitan area, right. But there is I think a misconception there. But other than that, man, people seem to love this place. I love this place. It's hard to leave, man. I'm gonna move to LA, or I'm gonna do, and I just never go. I just keep keep staying. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's a beautiful place.
When you feel overwhelmed or you need a mental escape, but you can't leave the city, where do you go to clear your mind?
Horner Park. Horner Park.
I figured that was leading to that.
That was the question. That was the question that I was gonna tie in earlier, just because I felt like I'm just gonna start repeating myself. But
yeah,
Horner Park, man.
Within the past 5 years of living here, what personal realization has improved your outlook on life the most?
I mean, I don't think this is special to Chicago in particular, but just ethic pays off. Hard work. Do your work. You can't fake hours spent. You can't fake time spent. So I don't know. That doesn't have much to do with Chicago, but it's this. I learned my ethic in Chicago because I live in Chicago. But something I tell young artists and young people that come to our, Bonelang's fan base is quite young, and this is a common question. How do you do what you're doing? How have you guys gotten to where you're at? Blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And I have like one answer, and it's just like, you can't fake it, man. You can't fake the time that you spend on something. People will weed you out in a second. People can smell inauthenticity from a mile away. And in a world where everybody's got a voice, everybody's got an opinion, a public opinion, in a world where everybody's has become quite self-important, being fully you and being fully authentic is more important than ever, and more marketable than ever. And that all comes from spending the hours on whatever your craft may be. You can't fake it.
I love that. It's great. It's great.
That's why I'm in here all the fucking time, man. It's just because, like, the only way Bonelang's gonna break, and like in a big way, on an international scale, on a national and then international scale, is it starts in this basement, man. It starts with putting your fingers to the keys. It starts with putting your pen to the pad. So,
what's something you dream of accomplishing within the next 5 years?
Touring the world. I want to tour every continent. I want to play in Japan. I want to play all over Europe. I want to play in Asia. I want to play in every state. I want to play in Canada. I want to play in Central America. I want to play in Mexico. I want to play everywhere. Yeah. South America. That's my main goal with this music shit, man. I'm not looking for like huge success in pop culture. It's not really fame. It's like I'd love to be just really regarded in my community as a motherfucker that put in his hours. Yeah. And a guy, he's real. Like, he's Sammy and Matt. You can say whatever. You can hate the music. You can hate the videos. You can hate us. All that. But one thing I don't want anybody to be able to say is that we're not real, and that we're tourists. You know what I mean? Because we're not. This is all I do all day, every day. It's all I think about. It's all I care about. And I want so badly to play in countries where they don't speak English, singing my words back to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the ultimate goal. Once I get there, once I've done a world tour, man, we'll fucking readjust. Set up something else for me to focus on for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? Move to Vermont.
Build a studio.
Yeah, make some maple syrup and write movies or something. You know what I mean? Like, but
that's awesome.
I have me and Matt have this whole like vision for our life and shit. And it's I'm just gonna speak it into the ether right now. But he's actually he like looks at properties quite often, like once a week, he says. And he looks at like acreage in the Northeast, anywhere from New Hampshire to Vermont to Maine, things like states like that. And we want like a Bonelang like combine. We want to like make enough money where we can buy a huge plot of land. He gets a house, I get a house, and then we flip a barn into a studio. And that would be it. Just end our days. And like it wouldn't matter about being in the scene or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could just make your moves from the forest, make your albums, cook healthy food. That's the dream.
Well, Samy, love chatting with you. Thanks for sitting down.
I appreciate you having me, man. These are cool questions. You can really like. When I was reading them in my head, I had all these like one-word answers. Mm-hmm. But it's cool, man. We drew it out. Yeah, we drew it out, man.
We have more.
I'm a talker. What can I say?
Thanks again, Samy. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, bro. Anything for you.
Thanks for listening to Rich Conversations. Again, you can follow Samy at _Bonelang. Have a fantastic day.